Well, yeah, I mean, it's got to be justifiable. I mean, if some kid crawls through your window and he's unarmed and you snatch him up by the neck, that's one thing. But I mean, I don't know if you where you're at, but you're in Iowa. But I live in Detroit, and they kick in your doors and come in commando with AK-47s now.
Yeah. When the government comes here, when the government comes here, I'm going to stick my hands up in the air. They'll have to kill an innocent man. But if I pick up a sword, if I pick up the gun, then I put myself in their realm, and they're just to take my life, and my blood will be on my own head. But if I'm unarmed, and I go peacefully, and they kill me, then my blood is on their hands.
Understood. I just meant in the criminal realm because the Bible seems to be pretty clear about protecting your family and defending your home from criminals, from murderers and whatever.
Well, look, you know, there's a bunch of drug dealers coming in to steal stuff so they can buy their drugs. Why? If they're unarmed, I leave them in God's hands. But if they come in armed, they come in shooting. They better hope they hit me first.
I spent enough years in Detroit to know too many times where, like I said, they'll come and put a boot to your door, and five, six of them come running in with AK-47s, and they're not there to wish you a happy birthday.
Yeah.
Because most of the
But
time, when they're successful, they kill everybody in the house.
but if you pick up a gun and they kill you, your blood's on your own hand. He that killeth with the sword must die with the sword. So if you put yourself in that realm, your blood's on your own head. Does that mean you're lost? No. Just means there's consequences. You put yourself in a gunfight, picking up a gun, you got to expect whatever comes. If you're unarmed, then you're blameless.
My major concern is, like I said, and it's not as much up here. I've carried a gun for 32 years. I've, licensed to do so for various reasons, but I just don't see myself as falling victim. Have somebody come in my house and kill everybody in my house. I just don't see that standing there and allowing it to happen is a really good option for me.
Yeah. That's a decision that everybody's going to have to make. And we're talking about hypothetical situations. Nobody knows until they're actually in that situation. And I had this argument with Eric John Phelps. He's the one that says we all need guns, we all need ammunition, we all need a store of dried food and stuff to be able to survive, and one thing and another. And I differ with him on it, and I called him just to talk about it, and he understood my point of view, and I was trying to understand his, and he said, "Tom, I'm not going to a concentration camp." Then I knew what he was trying to tell me. He'd rather die by the sword than die by torture. And he'd rather his blood be on his own head than suffer in a concentration or a labor camp and be starved to death. And, I can't blame him.
Yeah, I've seen what they do to people in the gulags and in Nazi Germany, and I'm not going to go through that.
Yeah. Look what they did to him in Croatia, man. And here's
Exactly.
something else. Here's something else too. I read the book uh, uh, "Terror Over Yugoslavia" by Avro Manhattan, and he said what they did in Croatia in 1940 to 1945 was an experiment to see what they would do in America. And I understand when Eric John Phelps says I'm not going to a concentration camp, I know exactly what he's talking about. And I
Well, they
don't
got
blame him.
this, and despite what everybody says and tries to say that they don't exist, those FEMA camps do exist. They're under several different budgets. We've got them here in Michigan.
Sure. There's
They're
800 of them.
Yeah, they're nothing but concentration camps,
Yeah.
and they're got to be there for a reason.
Yeah. And many of them have railroads right beside them. And some of them even have what can't even be disguised as big furnaces. And I mean, look, people can deny till the cows come home, but the pictures don't lie. And there are 800 of those facilities in this country, many of which used to be military bases. And Ronald Reagan abandoned a bunch of those military bases in the 1980s. And I asked myself at that time, when they abandoned all those military bases, what are they going to do with that land? What are they going to do with those installations? Surely they're not going to let them grow up the cactuses and tumbleweeds. Now I know what they're doing with them. And it was Ronald Reagan who first acknowledged the Pope, reestablished formal diplomatic relationships with the Vatican, and exchanged nuncios and ambassadors with the Vatican, and installed a Vatican desk at the CIA. It was Ronald Wilson Reagan, a Roman Catholic, Irish Roman Catholic, who got on his knees before the Pope and said, "Holy Father, I give you my country." I think Ronald Reagan knew at the time what he was going to do with those military installations that he abandoned. And now they're concentration camps, many of them. Transportation relay facilities. The runways are still preserved, and they're going to use them to move around people. And there are 800 concentration camps in this country. One of them in Alaska will handle 2 million people. And I have to ask my listeners on Inquisition Update, if there's 800 concentration camps in this country and one of them's capable of holding 2 million people, did they build them for the Mexicans that they're inviting to come to this country? Or are they, are they for the blacks, the minority blacks? Or are they for the majority white Protestants?
Exactly.
I mean, why do you need 800 concentration camps for a minority of the population? I mean, we're so stupid in this country we can't do the simple math.
Cast a great delusion, for they'll believe a lie.
Sure, and they have the ecumenical movement. The big lie is that the Pope is not Antichrist. He's a man of God, for crying out loud. That's the strong delusion, that they would believe a lie. That's the lie. That Catholicism's Christianity, that the Pope is a man of God, or rather, the replacement of the Son of God on earth. That is the grand delusion. And the ecumenical movement just proves how widespread that delusion is. Now it's mainstream Protestant belief.
Anybody, any religion that refers to their leader of the religion as the Holy Father is blasphemous right there.
You know, I tell people, if you've got a Bible program on your computer, type in Holy Father and see how many hits you get. There's only one in all the Bible. And Jesus one time referred to his Father as the Holy Father. Only once in the entire Bible is that word used.
And to call any man the Holy Father is blasphemous.
Yep. That's why the Bible says, and he will open his mouth against the Most High. Speak great words against the Most High. And how do you speak a greater word against the Most High than to pretend to be his vicar or his replacement, which means the same thing. I mean, there's no other institution than the papacy on the planet in world history that fits every biblical description of the man of sin than the Pope of Rome. It's a dead ringer. You can't get it wrong. If you read all the passages that have to do with the wicked one, then there's only one image that can come to your mind. It's the papacy.
Okay, Matt. You take care, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh yeah. Thanks, Tom, for making an appearance. I learned quite a good bit, and I have a lot to read up on now.
Yeah. Well, thanks for coming, and we'll get together again